What up, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up? Giving you some midnight what ups from the East Coast tonight. What's going on out there, everybody? Welcome to the show once again, Brooklyn Beards and Ball Sports Show. It is Rod and Don. We are in the building. Man, these playoffs, oh my God, today, man. Listen, before we get into all this exciting basketball, listen, we need you to do us a favor. We need you to smash that like button, comment, share, do what you do. We appreciate everything. My boy Don. Shout out to my boy Don, man. Don has been doing the work, man. He's putting in work. He's doing the reels. He's putting out the shorts. He's working, y'all. He's working. So, when we start making money, he gonna get it's a 90-10 share. I'm gonna be reminded. When we start making some money. He gonna bring all this up to me. You know what I'm saying? So, but shout out to the boy Don, man. You really been doing it. We appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. What's good with you? What's going on in Brooklyn? What's good with you, man?
Oh man, all of the flags are at half mast. Everything is, but it is what it is. It's going to be a good show. We got to look at the reality of things and also be optimistic for the future. But without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, well, listen, we're going to start off really quick with the Nets, okay? Yeah. The Nets, once again, are out of the playoffs. 2 seasons in a row ended in disappointment. We got swept 2 times.
Right.
First time we got swept, we had superstars. This time we got swept, we didn't have superstars. We had some really good players, up and coming, bright future, but we got swept all the same. Overall, I think our team has a lot of promise. Watching the games, when you are playing against a team that ultimately has a all-star or a superstar player, that makes the difference. At the end of the day, I did give us an opportunity and a shot in our minds, but of course you need a little bit of luck. Ask Miami, ask, their injuries, there's things that happen that give you an advantage. Kawhi Leonard with the Clippers and how that's playing out. And of course, Paul George. All of those things kind of shift how a team will actually fare in the playoffs. That being said, we didn't have any significant injuries. I will say this. We played a good game. We played a good series overall. We showed a lot, but ultimately there's things that we need to do moving forward. Now, when the offseason starts, when playoffs are over and the champion, whether it's a new champion, most likely will be. I don't see the Warriors repeating. But let's just say once it's all said and done, the Nets have to hit the ground running. They need to be aggressive with their recruiting. They're aggressive with free agency. They can't sit on their hands with it. They have to be aggressive. We need size. The problem is we have good players, but we get destroyed on the boards. Offensive rebounds, those things are give any team a second opportunity to add a shot, or you give them extra possessions, you're going to lose. Clearly, Embiid, he got hurt. He's supposed to be 50-50 for the next series. So if nothing else, we did our job, okay? I said that when they played us, or if we lost, they would know that they played us. And at the end of the day, Embiid, I knew it was a matter of time before Embiid, something ailed him and he would not be able to continue. Unfortunately, I thought we would have had an opportunity to win this game, but it seemed towards the end, people were just, 1, 2, 3 Cancun. They were looking to really go on vacation. So it kind of, this last game was a little disappointing. It seemed like they quit at the end, but, the season was basically over. Even if we, kind of prolonged the inevitable, it was going to be over. Now, we'll just say this one thing. We're talking about the flagrant foul and whether, Embiid kicking Claxton should have been ejected. And then the foul on, James Harden, hitting, what's his name in the lower region. And then he gets, ejected.
Right.
If things were, I would say this: had they officiated the way they officiated with the Warriors, I
Mm-hmm.
think Embiid should have been ejected, but he wouldn't have been because, of course, he's a superstar compared to Claxton, right? In name, right? And
Right.
he's arguably going to be the MVP this year. So if they had ejected him, they all at the end of the day, they did Philly a favor by ejecting Harden because we got Maxey, and Maxey is at this point in his career, he's light years better than James Harden. He's faster, he's younger, he's more aggressive to the hole, to the basket. He's he can elevate. So it did us a huge disservice keeping Embiid in. Now, had they ejected Embiid, I do believe, because we were winning
Mm-hmm.
at the time, I think our chances of winning that game would
Uh-huh.
have been much, much higher. And then we would have had a little more to play for. Being
Yeah.
down 2-1 and being
Mm-hmm.
down 3-0 is too, mentally, it's two different things.
Absolutely.
So, those things happen. A bounce here, a possession here, a missed shot, getting cold and then getting hot. At the end of the day, we got swept. So no excuses. But I do think that if we are smart with,
Mm-hmm.
our recruiting, anybody that sees this team knows that we're one or two pieces away from really, really making some noise in the East and in the league, period. So that's pretty exciting. Of course, you want your team to go further, but, it is what it is. What do you say?
No, I agree with you there. I think I was a little shocked that y'all got swept. I didn't think it would be a sweep. I thought, probably go 6. I said we've been talking the last couple of weeks. I thought Philly obviously was the better team. They would win, but I wouldn't have been surprised if Brooklyn was to take this series because of the things you mentioned with Embiid and getting hurt and just Philly, and Doc and then their playoff history, it came into the series sort of feeling like something like that could be the case with the 76ers. But they prevailed. And look, I say this to all the Brooklyn fans out there. I feel for you, man. I really do. I think Katie and Kyrie, they did y'all dirty, for real. At the end of the day, they did y'all dirty. And I think, it's a sad thing that y'all had to be able to overcome so much in the last 3 years with those two guys and just being absentees, not being able to come to work, getting hurt, and so kudos to what I believe. Jock Vaughn is still a good coach. Some cats, I know my man Watts in Brooklyn, he's a big net fan like yourself. He blames Jock Vaughn for a lot. He just didn't like the way the defensive schemes were set up in this playoff match here with Philly. He didn't like that y'all were like almost nearly triple teaming Embiid, all the way at the 3-point line and a high post. He just didn't understand the defensive strategy that Jock Vaughn was running and some of the rotations and stuff that he had. So, but I still think Jock is a good coach. So like I say, I agree with you with the whole suspension thing, what could have gone down, how it could have played out a little differently, but y'all played hard. And here's the thing, I don't think anybody is really looking at this. If you just, just being I would say, looking at this from a very objective perspective, just as a basketball fan, and then even if you're a Nets fan, you're not too angry, right? Because again, your team showed resilience, you showed poise, and you're looking forward to the future. And you're looking forward to seeing, obviously, Mikal Bridges. He's your centerpiece. He's that dude now. And you're going to have Cam Johnson. He's a restricted free agent. You get a chance to sign him. You got some still luxury tax issues
Steph
there
Curry.
from what I was reading about there. Steph Curry's a free agent. Y'all can bring him back. You know what I mean? And I, saw a sort of posted what you put up there regarding Ben. Ben, I don't know. It's going to be tough. I don't know if y'all going to be able to move him unless y'all, and then of course the buyout situation, that's going to have a lot of implications on your, on your cap there and what have you. So, that's going to be tough. I think really what you want to try to do with Ben Simmons, I don't know if you guys are going to be able to move him or buy him out. So I think, look, you hope that he will get a chance to play. You hope you can get him ready to at least play, right? And get him out on the court and see what can happen. And then going forward, give another year, you see what happens with that whole situation there. But I think with him, I don't think you're going to really be able to move him. And I know you talked about, Dinwiddie as well. Din averages 9 assists a game. He balls on the assists, but it seems like he didn't play well in his playoff game, and the numbers proved it. Y'all were like crazy negative when he was out there on the court. So
and the problem I have with him is he dribbles too much. That's first off.
Yeah.
Secondly, you're not a superstar. So put your hands down. You're not getting a call. Each time his hands are up like, yo, you don't see it? You're not getting the call. There are certain players that you breathe on them. They're going to get the whistle.
Absolutely.
You're not there. You're not in that tier of players where you're going to get the benefit of the doubt. It has to be clear cut that it's a foul.
Right.
Joe Harris, get him out of there. Regular season, 40 plus from 3. Last year, same thing. You're playing with Kyrie and Kevin Durant. You're getting wide open shots.
Sure.
You're missing everything. I think in the playoffs, he's shooting like 18%.
Wow.
Unacceptable. He has to go, and he's getting paid good money. He needs to go. So money. They need to that needs to be the priority.
I agree.
You got to unload Ben Simmons some way, somehow. There will be a team that believes in a different system, and if it's listen, I told
like Westbrook, right? I mean,
look how he's playing.
Well, yeah, but the difference is Westbrook is the guy has no injuries, right? I mean, he's a machine. He's very durable.
But But the way the Clippers, and granted, there's injuries that are, obviously boosting his minutes of play, right? Because it was him and Kawhi playing, so he was getting the ball a lot. I don't know if he would be thriving the way he has the last couple of games if Paul George and Kawhi were playing. But if you see that, number one, he's not going to cheat you as it pertains to
never
effort. He
never.
is. And sometimes he's super aggressive. Sometimes I think to a fault, but at the end of the day, he's still giving it 110%. Win, lose, or draw, he's giving it 110%. So I think the Nets.
But with Russell, you know what you're getting, right? It's just with Ben, you just don't know. Like you still don't know what you got in Ben. That's why I don't know if a team will take a chance on him.
Oh, I think so.
And his salary is just way, way out of control.
I think so, because now he's getting to the point where, let's just say a team is looking to, take. I mean, I think he has 2 years left on his contract. So let's just say a team it wants to take a chance on it. Let's just say, I don't know. I think that
maybe next year and his last year, like they did with Westbrook, because then you can always dump him at the end of the trade
expiring
deadline
contracts.
Expiring contracts, right?
But
so the last year it's a little more attractive.
Yeah, I think he is young enough, and people, a lot of times live in the past, and we lived in the past. We were looking at yesteryear and when he was an all-star, but if he's having issues.
But do you think but let me ask you that, and I didn't mean to cut you off, but I want to ask you this. But I mean, do you want to at least give Jacques Vaughn an opportunity to get a whole year with him, which he essentially almost had, right? Because it was kind of early in the year that Nash got fired, right? But he hasn't played really, and there was a little moment when Ben, I believe it was this year, where he showed a little bit of a spark, right? There was a little season in there until the shift came.
Yeah.
But then he played well. But I think if you give Jacques Vaughn some time to over the off season, I think you can get one more year out of Ben and get, whether it be defense, get him in a specific role. I think you got to take another chance, because really I just don't think you're going to move him in this year of his contract. The final year, but I think you got nothing to lose if you try to get something out of him.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I just think that it really depends. Now, his value to our team or any other team will depend on what the Nets do as it pertains to getting new people, attracting a superstar to come to that team, because he can fit in a certain chemistry. Like he can fit in. But if you're expecting him to be scoring option 1, 2, or 3 and just facilitate the ball, he has to go. He has to go somewhere.
But I tell you what he does give you, though, D, and you hit it on this. You're spot on with this. I totally agree with you. you got to get size, right?
You
And
have
with
to.
Ben, you'll get Ben is size.
He's
Ben
been
is
6'10". He's been 6'10" the whole time, and he's
no, but I mean, if
he's
you get him
almost
out on the
six.
court,
He's 6 feet tall, sitting on the bench.
yeah. But what I'm saying is, if you can get him out on the court, right? Let's just say you could get him. Like you gotta at least have hope that he's going to play next year, right? Throughout the offseason, he'll, obviously he'll get better. Whatever, he'll heal up. Something's going to happen where he's going to get back on the court. And so when he gets back on the court, he can still be a very, very perennial kind of front man for you guys. He can play in your front court. He can rebound. He can D. Then I think that's what you're going to end up seeing with Jacque Vaughn, using him in some kind of way, because you get him and then you got to add more size to your point.
Right. He can't be.
Definitely got to get bigger. Yeah.
You got to get bigger.
Yeah.
We
got to get bigger. I agree.
And I like Claxton. Yes, don't get me wrong. Claxton is a really good piece. I like Claxton, but we need depth in that big man role, skilled big man who can either score or are defensive. They have defensive, like their specialty is defense. We need a shot blocker, somebody with some kind of size.
Well, you got 2 first-round picks too, cause you got a lot of picks. Obviously,
we have an opportunity to retool really well. We have an opportunity to do that. So without losing, I mean the Patty Mills and Cam Thomas. Everyone wants to know Cam Thomas is. I mean, he's gone in, and I think he played 6 games and at high 20s. He had those back-to-back 40-point games. But when you watch him, he's a little too raw. He looks almost, newborn deer. Sometimes his legs are not
real unformed.
He's moving faster than what his legs. So I understand and being on Twitter and talking to different Nets fans. They're like, yo, Jacque Vaughn, why aren't you playing Cam? But he's not ready. Maybe another year in the system, maybe another a year in the league, getting some maturity.
But I think he showed enough, though. I mean, would you not say?
No. Don't try to make this a Brock Purdy thing. No. He's not ready to be a starter or be anything. He needs.
You don't think so?
No, he's not. He's not ready. He's not ready. Because a person can score, you still have to be able to be efficient within an offensive scheme. This is not a one-on-one game. So I think he can be used, but I think in a playoff situation, sometimes, I mean, he came in, not this game, the last game, to provide a offensive spark. Right. First 2 or 3 plays, it was like 3 turnovers. So, and granted, some of that might be nerves because you don't want to mess up. It might be in your head, hey, I'm getting my shot. I'm already on a short leash. This is, so I understand that. I think as he matures, I think it will work, but he does seem a little at times awkward.
But I mean, you think he's played well enough to still be part of your future, right?
Yeah. I'm not looking to totally have the Nets get rid of him, but I totally understand why he didn't get more playing time in the playoffs. I totally understand, and I agree with it. So, Royce O'Neal, there's people that are going to be casualties, right? They're going to be moved. People will be interested. Dorian Finney-Smith, we definitely need to hold on to him. We need defense. We need rebounds. We need two-way players. We need wing defenders. This is what we need. So, then maybe there is a place for Ben Simmons. But if we have some primary scoring and some size, then Ben Simmons' deficiencies, the way he's been playing. Now, if he gets back to form the way he was playing when he was initially in Philadelphia, we'll take that. But if as he started and then the playoffs with Atlanta and then what we got in Brooklyn, we can do without that. But let's, it is what it is. Let's move on from Brooklyn. Shout out to Brooklyn Nets. Good season. You went through a lot of adversity. Unfortunately, you got swept again. I'm starting to feel like I understand a little bit how the Cowboys feel the last 2 seasons.
My God.
Okay, we're not even on football. Let's move on.
You know what?
The Clippers.
I think I see the maid. She's doing some sweeping back there on the mantle. I think. Hi. Yeah,
Right.
yeah, she's
Exactly. Yeah, we
sweeping up
got
the
swept.
mantle.
It's
Yeah.
all good.
Okay. All right.
Let's
Okay.
move on to the Clippers. Man,
Yeah.
they are. I will say this. I will say this. If the Clippers were at full strength, they would have beaten the Suns. No doubt in my mind.
No question.
Because
I agree.
listen, the Suns are top heavy, as your man LeBron would say, top heavy, right? But
Right.
outside of that, their bench, they lost so many pieces, to Brooklyn in that trade. They don't
Yeah.
have the pieces. So Kevin Durant,
Right.
Devin Booker,
Right.
CP3, when he actually does play, they have to put up so many minutes. I don't think it's sustainable. They can beat an underman team, but it's going to be interesting what they do with a super deep team like Denver in the next round. I think
agree.
Denver, unless they can figure something out, or there is a unforeseen injury that kind of evens the playing field, it's a wrap for them. Denver is too deep. Deep teams are going to, if it's based on just the starting five, then nobody's seeing the Suns. But you got to sit down sometime,
And what's his
and
name is out too, I think, right? The dude, the mushroom head dude.
Cam.
Cam, right? The other Cam.
Campaign.
Yeah.
So,
Campaign.
but if he comes back next round, that might give some another scorer.
Yeah.
But as it is now with
Yeah.
CP3 and Torrey is actually scoring. He's kind of filling in and adding some points. But Devin Book has been on a tear. Him and KD.
Yeah,
I
Booker's
mean, if
been-
they're putting up 60, 70 points between two players, I mean, that's hard to beat. But
Can't beat
deeper
that.
teams
Yeah.
that can wear them down, if you don't get swept or you don't get beaten in a gentleman sweep, you really, if you can get a 6 or 7 games and those starters have to put up on average 44, 45 minutes, time is on your side. So it's unfortunate that Kawhi, it's the Clippers, it's a bad situation. And I'm wondering, is it time to just officially blow up that team?
Yeah, I
What do you
agree.
say?
I agree. That's exactly what my take was going to be. It ain't going to be about this series because you're right. I mean, Phoenix is going to prevail because, again, the Clippers are shorthanded. But I agree. I think it's time to trade Kawhi. Trade him. Kawhi, I sent you the take the other day. We know all over national sports media, of course, with Stephen A. Smith's take on Kawhi and his whole issue is not being, I guess, that superstar or one of the worst ever because of the fact that his availability is never there, right? But I'm gonna tell you the truth, though, D. I have to admit, I'm sick and tired of the NBA, man, and these guys. I'm tired of these superstars. I really am, man. Embiid being out and Kawhi, now he's out, missed 2 games. I mean, come on. You tell me you guys can't play. You mean you've been low managing all year long and you've been taking time to rest yourself and the fans, the poor fans, they get the worst of the worst. No consideration at all for the fans that actually spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars, even thousands, to come to these games during the regular season. Players are missing games now. I mean, we're low, man. I don't even care. Even with Milwaukee, I don't care. This is a low management issue right here. I don't care what they say. He should be playing. If unless your limbs are decapitated, there's no reason why you can't play. I don't care. My back hurts or my knee. So what? This is what it's all about. It's the playoffs. This is where the stars come out and they endure. They play through pain. They play through nicks and aches. And you go out there and you perform so you can do what? Get out of the series. You don't play with your food and play around with these teams because you figure, okay, we still a little more dominant. We got 7 games. All we got to do is win 4 to 7. We can afford to drop a game or 2 because we know that we're still superior. We'll get Giannis back when we get him back. We'll get Kawhi back when we get him back. And we should try to be able to prevail once we get these guys back. Listen, I think it's trash. It really is. Embiid could have still played today. He really could have. I don't understand this whole thing why guys can't play because they just got hurt in a game or so. Like, it's cap to me. I don't care. Like, Kawhi, trade him. You need to trade. They need to blow that whole thing up. I feel bad for Ty Lue. Poor Ty Lue. Ty Lue, it's not his fault when they get eliminated. It's not his fault. And Paul George, obviously, he had a severe injury. I can understand a real injury. But, like, man, when these guys stay hurt and stay hurt and stay hurt, KD, the last 4 years, he hasn't played a full season since OKC, for crying out loud almost. It's these guys are always out, never showing up to work. And I think it's a bad thing. It's a bad precedent. And the NBA really needs to do something. I know they changed the limit in terms or how many games they need to play to be considered for certain types of awards and criterias for all, being all, what do you call it? The all NBA and other things like that, or considered for MVP, candidates or whatever have you. But at the end of the day, D, in the playoffs, you see it these guys are low managing in the playoffs, for real. Don't think they're not. Kawhi's going to play the next game. He's going to play because now they're down 2-1, right? So he's going to play the next game. And this is all to kind of extend the series. I don't know if there's money involved. I feel like a little Don Spearsy coming on here almost. You know what I'm saying? Because I think it's really messed up that these guys are not playing in these games, in a playoff game. You're not that hurt. I don't care what you say. You're not that hurt.
I don't think. No. Kawhi's not going to play. He's not playing next game. He's not going to.
You don't think he's going to play?
No, they're down. No. They're down. What? 3-0.
Is it 3-1? It's 3-1. No, 2-1. I thought it was 2-1.
No.
It's only 2-1. Let me see. Hold on.
Nah, they're down 3-0. I think.
No. The Clippers
3-1.
The Clippers won the first game. Yeah. Let me see. Golly, I can't. Let me pull.
Yeah, I think it's 3-1.
It's 3-1. Yeah.
Yeah, they're not. He's not going to play. He's not going to play. And I don't know if you heard the other news about Kawhi's sister.
I heard that. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
That is.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. The only thing I can think of, and that's the first time I ever hearing about that. I didn't even know he had a sister or that she was in any type of trouble,
Wow.
So I don't know. Maybe it's a drug situation. Maybe, it's unfortunate. Yeah, it sounds like maybe she's had some chronic issues and some stuff going on, obviously. Because there's no way you would want to rob
for
somebody
800 or 8 or 1,200. I mean, the person that she is found guilty of murdering an 84-year-old woman.
It's 3-1. I'm sorry, D. Go ahead. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right. It was 3-1.
$800 to $1,200 in a casino.
That's all it was? Wow. Yeah.
It was only, I think it was anywhere from $800 to $1,200. So let's just say $1,200. You're getting life in prison without the possibility of parole for that.
Yeah.
And your brother just signed a 3-year, $100+ million contract in July.
Yeah.
I don't know. Now, based on what I've read, they have some relationship, but clearly she wanted to make sure that it was clear he had nothing to do. Obviously, he had nothing to do with it. But her life, she didn't want it to overshadow his life, right? And put a tarnish his name based on her, bad decisions. But it's just a bad situation.
Yeah.
Aside from sports. That's a bad situation.
No, it is. It is. It really is. Yeah.
And obviously the family impacted is just
right.
Devastating.
Yeah, it is. It is.
So listen, overall, most of the series, okay, obviously we know Philly and Brooklyn is a wrap. I'll tell you this: if indeed, Giannis is load managing as you suggest, if they lose next game, they're not going to win that series. And
that's he's going to play next game, I think. He's going to play.
Well, we'll see. He's going to play. But
they're not going to go down 3-1. So he's definitely going to play game. He's going to play game 4. He's playing game 4.
I mean, it's not a guarantee that they're going to win the game. Sometimes you roll the dice. He might have rolled snake eyes. Because if you give a team that you really should beat and you're a better team pretty much all season, you're the best in the East. This is a team that you can't play with because they know how. They have a veteran coach. They have, Jimmy Butler. They have enough pieces around them. I mean, Tyler Hero broke his hand, but Duncan came in and he played extremely well. So it's like they have Victor's shooters. Who was that?
Oladipo.
Oh yeah. See, that was a bad injury. The injuries this season, is going to be framed. The framework of this is who can survive the injuries. What team is going to be the most intact? Because if you think about it, you got Oladipo. I mean, he's a bench player, but okay, you got Oladipo, you got Tyler Hero, you have Giannis, you have Embiid, you have who else? Who else is dealing with any major?
Kawhi.
Oh, obviously Kawhi and Paul George.
And Paul George,
yeah. So the playoffs are really based on what team. How about KD? He was in question when he was out right before the playoffs started. Is he going to come back? And he's going to.
Yeah.
So every team, or a lot of the teams, have been impacted by injuries. So it's going to be interesting down the stretch. Denver is looking quietly under the radar. They're looking the most efficient.
Really good.
They're looking really good. They're not playing with Minnesota. They're going to try to do quick work. So I think they'll be chilling and waiting for the next round, whoever they'll play, and that's going to be really, really interesting.
Yeah. Well, like you said, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. You good?
If and when the Suns win, I think they're going to have their hands full, because that bench on
Denver's deep,
super deep.
They're deep. That's going to be a really good series. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that series. Yeah, that's going to be a good series. I totally agree. No, I agree with all the injuries and everything there, but I do think you're going to see Giannis in Game 4. I don't think they can afford to go down 3-1. You're right. Miami is a well-experienced team, and they can beat you. If you're the Bucks, you got to know that they can beat you. But Giannis, he's going to be back. He's going to play through it, and they're going to try to tie it up in Miami, and then try to get on back. But that game could go now 6 or 7, because of the fact that you're what I believe is really just part of some low management crap that you're doing. You know what I'm saying? See, that's why I say that these guys today, their mentality to me is just whack. It's whack. If you really want to take care of business and get teams out, you want to rest, take care of your business. Stop playing with your food, knock these teams out, and then go on and get your rest. You see what I'm trying to say?
But I'll say this, to Giannis's credit, he doesn't fit the mold of the people that typically abuse the load management part. I have to believe, based on how he has been playing and his track record, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt that maybe he really is injured to the point where there's a difference in being injured enough to play and injured to the point where you are now hurting the team. Because you have to now, if his mobility or he takes another hard fall, he only slashes to the basket. That's how he gets 98% of his points. What if he takes a hard foul and now he either increases or re-aggravates an injury? Sometimes it is better to take an extra day, and if your team can win,
which he did, right? He missed.
But I don't know if that's load management. I don't put him in the same category of a Kawhi or other players that are load management and abusing it.
Doesn't suggest that. I agree with you there, but you're in the playoffs though. Like, you don't have a lot of time to recover in a playoff series. Like, one game, okay, I give you that, but you got to play. Like, you got hurt in Game 1. You came out when you got hurt. So you had that game the day after. You had the couple days between Game 1 and Game 2. Your team prevailed in Game 2. You didn't play in Game 3. So now you got enough rest. You
want him to get treatment. You want him to get treatment in the hallway.
Fact.
The second no.
That's it. That's exactly
he's too big of an investment. He's too big of an investment for them, and they're thinking long term. If it was a conference finals, if it was something that they didn't think
you won't even get
an
to
extra
final.
Well, I understand that. I mean, you can lose. You can lose it. Don't sleep. They can lose.
And that's the point I'm making. I'm with you. I'm in alignment with your point that you're messing around with this Heat team, and this team is very capable of beating you. They are scrapping,
playing with fire.
To lose. They playing with house money. They got nothing to lose. What'd you say?
I said he's playing with fire.
He's playing with fire. He's playing with heat. That's it. You know, the playground is closed. You better listen.
Right.
Okay.
That's exactly right.
That's it.
Oh,
The playground
man.
is closed. That's it. So
All right. So
but anyway,
let's
all right. What we got?
let's go to the Nuggets. Nuggets are rolling. We don't really have nothing much to say about them. They're
Yeah,
looking
we pretty
good.
much said what
They're
they-
healthy,
yeah, they
deep
rolling.
team. They're
looking
probably going to finish it. If not
Yeah.
in 4 games, they're going to finish it
Yeah,
5
Minnesota's
max,
finished.
and they're going to just
Mhm.
probably rest up and see who they play the next round. Let's
I
talk
agree.
about the Warriors really quick before we get to the Lakers.
Okay.
The Warriors here in the Bay Area. I mean,
Oh yeah.
in game 1 and
Go out there.
2,
What they talking out there?
they threw E40 out on his ear in Sacramento. That hat was rolled up. They took that they unrolled that hat and unceremoniously got him out of there. But I'll say this. And then he had a whole explanation about it. And that could be the fact. I mean, if you in Sacramento don't know who E40 is, I mean, I think some of the security guards and all of those people, personally, this is their opportunity to really get at them, because you got to know who. I mean, E40 is a super fan, for the Warriors.
He's a super fan, right? Exactly.
Like,
And
you
he's on
know
the
who
West
Spike
Coast,
Lee
you know.
is.
Yeah.
You know who Spike Lee is in the Knicks.
Right.
You know, like,
Jack
you
Nicholson
listen.
in the Lakers, whatever.
Exactly. You know who Mr. Whammy is with the Nets. I mean, we got Mr.
Right.
Whammy. We ain't got no. But you get what I'm saying. Jay-Z and Beyonce, if you want to add them to the whole, Drake with the Raptors,
Yeah,
whatever.
the Raptors, right.
You know the super fans. You know the people that are big with the team, and so the fact that there was beef and they had to actually, escort him out of the game, I just think it was bad. But he was back there at the Chase Center, and they the Warriors were good. I think ultimately the question is with Draymond Green. I think what got him suspended was the after the A-Town stomp. I think all of because Silva was in the crowd. I think all of that extra gesturing and trying to incite the fans. I mean, that's good, but in that situation, right after that happened, that was bad timing. Like, if it's just in the course of the game, you're trash talking, I don't think it would have been a big deal. But the fact that you do that and then it's kind of thumbing your, putting your, like, kind of doubling down on the fact that you stepped on this guy's chest, and Sabonis was wrong, obviously. And I think that I think that Sabonis instigated it. They gave him a flagrant. I think throwing him out would have been enough, right? You throw out Draymond Green. I think the suspension was excessive. And if you're going to do that, then clearly, as we mentioned before, the whole Embiid thing, he should have been thrown out. If you're going to just be consistent. And the problem is that fans see is that there is a high level of inconsistency within, how games are being officiated. Referees are calling stuff, but it is what it is. I think the Warriors. What I was getting at is the fans here feel like, the Warriors, they prove something. You're still down 2-1. What did you prove? You have to win on the road. That's when you prove something. That's when people say, oh, here it is. The Warriors are actually, turning on that switch. They're in playoff mode, right? But winning at home and winning at the Chase Center, that is a hedge that you are protected in that hedge. Go outside that hedge and win some games and see what happens.
That's right.
What do you say?
That's right. No, I say exactly what you're saying there. And I got to say this in Sacramento, just to note that listen, and they've been crazy since the mid 2000s when they were giving my Lakers problems when we had Kobe and Shaq, and those guys had, Weber and Williams and those guys, man, and Bibby. Mm-hmm. They was a problem then. And that has always been a tough place to win. And so that, having home court advantage, they're clearly going to prevail. So the fan base out there on the Bay talking about, look, we back, we come, you know what I'm saying? And of course, they, and look, we respect the Warriors. They're a dynasty. They are the defending champs, but you clearly know they're not going to prevail in this series because they can't win on the road. And look, you lost 2 on the road, and again, and Sacramento has home court. So you win a game in your place, what you should do, but it's not going to matter because, to your point, they're not going to overcome, not going to prevail. As far as the Draymond thing goes, I agree with Doc Rivers. I don't know if you saw his statements about how you got the instigator and the retaliate and those that retaliate and the retaliatory one. I think you gotta be consistent with both of them, right? So I think, my opinion, I think Sabonis should have got suspended. I mean, not suspended, ejected, along with Draymond, which he was. And then, like you said, and I agree with you on that. I guess when it's really late, I just start agreeing with everything, right? It's really late. It's like 1:30,
exactly.
2 o'clock in the morning out here. But I was gonna say that at the end of the day, I don't think they were suspendable of a game type punishment. I think they both should have still been able. I mean, Draymond should have played, obviously. He got suspended. He should have played. The NBA is very inconsistent with this. I think Sabonis, his act was just as egregious. Yes, I mean, Green all but catapult. I mean, it was like a trampoline. I mean, he just pushed down and leapfrogged all the way down to the other end of the other end of the arena. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, yeah, it was an egregious, as what they call it out there, A-town stomp or whatever you just said it was. Whatever they call it.
I mean, we don't call that. We don't call that here. They would call A-town stomp where you're at. I don't know what you say.
Oakland? I thought you said I thought you said someone Oakland or something Oaktown.
No, I didn't mention it.
Oh, okay.
No, I was saying A-town stomp, but
Oh, okay.
It was more of a
all right.
Drew
But
Hill
like I
dance.
said, yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, but I agree. But the Golden State Warriors, it was a good win for them. It really was. And again, I do like that Wiggins is back. I do think having a complete team.
He picked up. Good. He didn't have a lot of rust. Even game 1,
not at all.
Defensively,
game 1,
he was good. Yeah. They looked really good. I mean, he is a vital piece of their. Even
he is.
I mean, from a scoring standpoint and defensively, even more than Draymond. I think at this point, because Draymond obviously he facilitates and he pushes that offense. But I think ultimately, I think Wiggins is a more vital role because he's also providing some really good scoring, and he's consistent. Overall, he's really consistent.
He is. I like him. I like Wiggins. I'm glad he was able to resurrect his career too, in Golden State. But I still like the Kings. They really play really well. They do. It's a high-powered offense, and Fox is balling. So, yeah.
He is. I think ultimately the Warriors will win. We gave our predictions. I think they want to see. I think everybody wants to see. I thought it would be Memphis and LA, and that's not still. We're getting ready to talk about
that series is far from over,
the takeaways from LA and Memphis. But I will say this. I just think Sacramento is a good story, but nobody wants to see them in the next round.
I agree.
I agree. Out of it, if it was a toss-up of certain teams, I would say yeah. But given the 4 teams, they're the least favorable team that people want to see the next round.
Totally agree. I could not agree with you more.
Oh, so you agree with me? I thought you would disagree.
No, I agree that nobody wants to see them.
Right.
I mean, I agree. Nobody wants to see Sacramento. No, you definitely would rather see Golden State and the Lakers, you know what I'm saying?
Or Memphis.
The Lakers. I mean, we will prevail. But right now, I'm just, it's going to be hard. It's not going to be an easy transition for sure. You know what I'm saying?
And one more thing about the Sacramento Kings. This is something that I just realized. Do you know that Sabonis is 7'1"?
He don't look it at all.
He does not look at. I thought he was like 6'9", 6.
Is he 6'8"? Sure he's 7'1"? Is that got to listen to that?
7'1". And someone had mentioned that to me, and I just looked it up again. He is 7'1". His father was 7'1" his father was like 7'4".
His father was bigger though. He was wide. You know what I mean?
But he looked tall. I mean, Sabonis doesn't look tall. He looks. He doesn't
not
look,
at all. He looks like a 6'8", 6'9" forward.
Yeah, I thought he was like. Yeah, if you told, I thought he would be like LeBron size.
Yeah,
height wise. But I don't. 7'1". It's,
I don't know. That's real deceptive there. I don't know because he
I
don't
mean, it
look
might be
well.
one of those things that, in college or in high school, they always, for football players, they beef up their size and,
Right.
add some inches to their height. But nah, it's 7'1". So,
Wow. Okay.
I mean,
All
if your
right.
pops is 7'4", you should be, yeah, I
Well,
mean,
yeah, yeah,
it's
you should
not
be. But his dad didn't even look. I mean, his
ridiculous.
dad was tall, but he didn't look. I mean, he was tall, and then plus, like I said, he was a big body dude. So bonus is a little more fit, and
And it's
but
because of those
definitely
knees. I mean, by the time his pops came in, those knees probably, yeah, it was,
right, exactly.
he was probably hunched over, and you never got the true size of how tall he was. But last but not least, let's talk about the
Yeah.
Lakers.
Oh
Okay,
gosh, D.
so
Man.
since our last talk, they have played 2 games, right?
Yep.
And
Yep.
so Anthony Davis, right on cue, has displayed in these last 2 games a high level of inconsistency. 13 points one game. What did he have today? 30 points this game?
D. Out of the 3 games, he only had one bad game out of the 3 games. So we can't go too far up to inconsistency. He still
I'm just
played
going by the
good.
last 2 games. So,
So he didn't
based
play.
on the
So you're not going
zigzag
to go with the
theory,
series.
this
You're
is a
not going to.
zigzag.
Well, I mean,
This is
we're talking
zigzag.
about a series right now. You're not going. Are you not going to take into account the full series
We
of all
talked
three
about
games?
no. We talked about his first game. We're talking about, since we did our last episode, they played 2 games. So now I have to, once again with you, anytime the Lakers, I have to pump it out an extra 5 or 6 games in order to get his average where you
Because
feel
you got
comfortable.
you again. You don't
We're
like
talking the
context.
last 2 games.
You
Last
love
two
to just take
games.
one verse and then you take one
No, no,
verse
no.
and then you create a whole doctrine out of it.
Okay,
That's.
so the last two
How about
games,
them
right?
bouncing back after a bad game? Did he not bounce
Okay,
back after a bad game?
I'm gonna. Can I get to my part? Let me.
Okay.
You're gonna have your opportunity. Okay, so over the last 2 games. Now, if you want, in your explanation, your time, you want to expand it for the last 7 games, we can do that. Last 2 games, Anthony Davis had 13 points. Then he had 30. I think he had at least, maybe he had high 20s,
39,
low 30s. Okay,
Yeah.
so we once again, and if we go 3 games, zigzag. So his next game should be an underperforming, underwhelming game based on his pattern of how he plays. High aggression. When he's aggressive, he's unstoppable. But then he gets into those lulls, and of course, 13 points, 9 rebounds is what he pumps out. Long story short, I'll say this: Laker fans have to feel a little uncomfortable towards the end of this game. I mean, and as me and you talked, we were going to do the show, a while ago. We had
the beginning
it
of the
was
fourth
third
quarter.
Yeah, beginning of the fourth quarter, we were going to say,
Right.
hey, let's just do the show. They were up by
Right.
17, 18 points. I text you, this game's a wrap. And when I was reading your text, my hand was shaking from probably the way you were texting. You were so scared of the outcome or the potential outcome. It came through the phone. The fear.
Yep.
I could feel the fear through the phone. But I'll say this.
Yep.
Ja Morant looked really good. He dropped 45. I think the whole Dylan Brooks was a distraction. And I was hoping that them throwing Dylan Brooks out would have actually boosted the play, because Dylan Brooks gets time. They could have gotten another player off the bench that could have, sometimes a spark off the bench, because Dylan Brooks is more defense. He has no offensive value. He doesn't, here and there. I mean, he was shooting pretty. He had, I think, 7 or 8 points.
He had a couple of threes tonight, but he
had a couple of threes, but his percentage was
3
terrible.
13 overall. Yeah. Actually only hit 1 3. He was 1 of 5, actually. But go ahead.
Okay, so it wasn't anything special. I say all that to say this. The Lakers, I think it's still going to go 6 or 7. I think it may still go 7 games. I think it's going to go 7. And I still have Memphis ultimately winning. We'll see what happens. I do think, speaking of load management and sick of players and all of this, you had to be sick of LeBron and AD tonight.
What?
I mean, I understand that the Lakers play in LA, but did we have to go? Like, it was.
We have to go what?
It was a lot of acting tonight. It was a lot of black acting school tonight because
On
it was a lot on AD and LeBron James.
what?
LeBron was rolling around. He
Oh
had gotten
Lord, he
hit,
always says
and
this.
he's
He
rolling
got hit in his head.
around.
You didn't see him get hit in his head.
No,
He
no, I'm
got
talking about when he
Jackson.
got hit. He got hit in his privates, and he
Oh,
allegedly
in his
got hit in his
groin.
private,
That
and
was
he
a
was rolling around. He almost rolled the length of the court. He almost rolled. He was on. He almost rolled all the way back to his seat. And I'm like, LeBron, stand up. Somebody help him up. Why are you still rolling around? That's first off. Then AD gets hit. AD's bleeding. All AD drink the blood already. What are you do? Why do you have blood on your teeth still?
I ain't gonna lie, his blood is still.
That
in his
was.
teeth. I was like, what are they doing? What? I have to say that.
Yo,
Like,
I was looking at that and I was like, AD.
Yo,
Now I know you got some soup coolers, right? But come on, it
like
was
12
too much.
possessions, he's running with a mouthful of blood. Like I don't get it.
Yeah, I'm
right,
like, yo,
right.
he's standing there and he's holding his lip, and I'm like, yo, enough already. I get it. There's a lot of actors.
Gosh.
There's Hollywood. I get it.
Okay.
But they were overdoing it today. Between LeBron rolling all the way back to his seat and Anthony Davis having a mouth, and I think he might have had one of those because he had so much blood in his mouth. I thought he had one of those pills that you bite to create blood. I think it was too much, and I'm like, I can understand some of these hits
from the photographer though. Her knee did catch him in his mouth. Though.
I think it was,
but
but
what about what about Jackson though? Jackson faked the bat. I mean, he flopped his whole body and nobody hit him in his face.
But listen, did he get the
in
call?
That first quarter?
I don't think he got the call. The difference is both of y'all got the call. Both of you, flopping has become part. I mean, James Harden. I mean,
so
you think of players.
You don't think he was really hurt? He got hurt in his groin. I mean, and Brooks is listen. Clearly Brooks was not trying to go for the ball. You know what I'm trying to say?
Okay, but clearly. do you think LeBron was overdoing it? Because we can in one term, one time say that LeBron's an Iron Man and nothing phases him, and then something. No. Okay.
I mean, I'm saying you don't think he has. So you don't feel he doesn't have a right to be hurt at this stage of his career?
No. He can. I just think you take a few breaths. You gather yourself. You get composure. You are a elite athlete. You've never a person that has gotten the wind knocked out of him, got hit in the privates, something that happens. It happens on a regular,
not in a point blank range with intentionality like that, though. You know what I'm saying? I mean, yeah, of course, LeBron's been getting beat up and hitting in contact all his life.
My problem with it is I think players are overdoing it to sell the calls. That's the problem. I'm not saying that
forever. But
LeBron doesn't have to do that. He's the face of the league. He doesn't have to roll around for 5 minutes. They went to commercial, came back, and he was still rolling. I think that's excessive. They didn't have to do that. And then AD, listen, get some water, swish it around, and spit out the blood.
Yeah. The AD blood thing was funny.
Listen, I know you'll defend that, but I will say this. Memphis, if they can get their act together and Ja Morant can go downhill the way he did and play. See, the problem is that in the beginning of the game, it got out of hand because the Lakers were aggressively going to the hole and Memphis was they were settling for jump shots. You're a good jump shooting team, but not that good. You're not the Warriors.
They was missing a lot of layups too. They was missing a lot around the basket too. We were altering a lot of shots down low. They didn't want no parts of AD with them shots. They were shooting them quick. They weren't really concentrating, getting them off the backboard. So yeah, they struggled around the rim as well, along with them jump shots. But I think also though, to the whole Ja Morant thing, and this is what was angering me about the Lakers, we didn't close in his space. And we weren't getting back on defense. So everybody can't crash the board. You got to get back because when Ja gets the ball, he's running 1,000 miles per hour. So you got to get back, and you got to be able to double him in crowded space. So what happened was finally, Ham decides to bring in Schroeder in those last minute and a half to 2 minutes to bring him in. And if you notice, Schroeder defense is way better than D-Lo because he closes in on the space. He's way more aggressive. He gets in Ja's face, or any defender or any ball handler for that matter. He plays the ball very well. And if you remember on that play where he came in on Ja, closed in, and then AD came in with the extra where he came down and then Ja came down with his foot. They thought it could have been a foul on AD because Ja fell into the restricted area there, whatever have you. And that shot was way off.
That should have been a call, to be honest. That should have been a call.
I mean, yeah, that could have been a call.
It could have been a call. AD closed in, and he has to give the shooter an opportunity to land. And it's little dirty stuff like that I'm not saying it's intentional.
It's not dirty. It's just that AD is look. At the end of the day, it's not dirty because AD is not a dirty player. That's not AD. If anything, AD has to learn how to close.
But then Giannis,
he's a very poor closer. He don't close out well.
Okay, so ignorance.
But you're saying like he wanted to hurt him, like he literally, I'm gonna put my foot here. So
I didn't say it was intentional, but dirty. It's still. I mean, the result of it is he could have turned his ankle and sprained his ankle and been out.
Situation. Yeah, but that's not dirty. Dirty is intentional. That's an intentional foul. Like you're looking to intently hurt someone. I mean, that's not what AD was doing in that particular play there. But what I'm saying is that the defense closed out. The Lakers are going to have to make sure that they get the other guys to beat us. They're going to have to get old smooth face Bane. They got to get these other guys that have got punchable faces. You're going to have to make sure that those guys are the ones that try to beat you. You got to because right now Ja's back. There's no question about it. Hand.
Tillman is only 24 years old.
That dude is 16 with a six. I'm gonna tell you off when the show's over. I'll tell you what he looks like to me. I can't say it on the air. But
Tillman is I was listening. They were talking about Tillman. He's supposed to be very mature. He should. Yeah. His looks should match his maturity. If so. But he said he was. I think he was a father in college. He was married in college.
Yeah,
and he was like
Jaren Jackson.
He looks like he was
best man.
He looks like he's been a father for a very long time.
Yo, I'm gonna tell you the truth, bro. What was this in game 1? I think where they talked about his story, because I ain't gonna lie, I know who he was. I never seen him. I ain't never watch him. I know who he was, bro. I literally, I looked at this dude grill. I'm thinking he's like a journeyman in the league. You know what I'm saying? Like a 13-year vet. You know what I'm saying? When they was like, yeah, he just came out of junior high school, first player selected. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, why is this dude grill look like?
Yo, he looks.
The way of the transgressor is hard.
It's not It's not like he had a hard life, but he's had a sober. He's had a sober upbringing. Like it wasn't. Looking at him, it didn't seem like there was a lot of time to just He had to think of. He had to strategically plan his life.
Yeah.
Early. Like it wasn't I don't know what I want to do when I grow up. It was he has a look like I know what I want to do. I know what I want to do.
Right.
And if you like that at 24,
yo, listen, that's a great thing, man. I mean, more power to him. I didn't know where I was going.
But he's playing well. Overall, he's playing well. I mean,
no, he is.
It's a huge
No.
I mean, it's a huge void, not having Steven Adams. And I mean, so given that and giving, Triple J a break, there is obviously Triple J is better than him, but I think overall he does fill in. He's active on the boards. He's a nice little player. He really is. Yeah, he can put some nice putbacks. He's not terrible.
The two things I would say about this though, tonight's game just reminds you how bad the game 2 loss was, right? Because you could have been up 3-0 with an underman team without Ja, right? Now you get Ja back. He runs off 66 straight points in the fourth quarter. And so I think when you look at the situation, though, what you call it brought up a good point. And you said this earlier when you started this segment here. If Memphis gets their act together, right? And I think Doris said it during the broadcast there. She said, when you look at Brooks, and almost I think she was implying like how selfish it is of him, right? Because here it is, Glenn Taylor is trying his best to get these guys that are completely
Taylor Jenkins.
undermanned. What's his name?
Taylor Jenkins.
Taylor Jenkins. I'm sorry. Thank you. Taylor Jenkins is doing all that he can, D, right? To get, and I'm not in no way, shape, or form empathizing with this team at all. But what I'm saying is that, when Brooks does the things that he does, you put that much more pressure on your coach, right? Because now, and Brooks being out there, he is a defensive player for the most part, right? And so who knows how this game could have still turned out had he played. So my thing is with the Lakers, you can't play with your food. Now, I did not suspect us to sustain the level of play that we played in the first quarter because there's way too much basketball left. And I always say that to you when the Lakers are down by like, listen, it's still early. I hate having dominant performances in the first quarter, because they really mean nothing. It's almost like a facade, because at some point you're going to come back down and that team is going to find its rhythm. They're going to get settled down, and then you're going to end up getting a game at some point, because you're not going to keep shooting and playing at that level. So the long story short, what I'm saying is for the Lakers, it's all about the defense. You got to get stops, but I am concerned. I don't like the way D-Lo, his decision-making is bad. Doris was saying it all night long. She was corroborating everything I was saying as I was talking about D-Lo and his bad decision-making, the fast break, taking the quick three after Reeves just got the rebound off the offensive rebound. Like, he's not, and again, he's not shooting the ball well. He did get a timely basket when we needed one in that fourth quarter. That was a good, and I still didn't even like that shot. That was just a shot. I still didn't like that shot, and I thought it was still a difficult shot, but he did make it. But I am concerned with him, and I think that if Ham is going to have to close these games out with Schroeder. You can't trust D-Lo, because I just don't think his defense is enough, especially against Ja. You're going to need somebody that's a little bit more aggressive, because Schroeder won't think about scoring. Because D-Lo says, I'm not a point guard, right? Well, we clearly know that, because you ain't been point guarding nothing lately. So my whole thing is, you get Schroeder out there for the defensive stops. You get Reeves and LeBron kind of run your offense, and Schroeder can do the same too. But Schroeder's a little more going to set up, though, and that's not what you're getting from D-Lo right now. And I think if we're not careful, we could end up, again, imploding and not playing good basketball with turnovers and the way our offense looks. So I'm really concerned about our offense more than anything in this series. So, yeah, we got to take this next game if we want to get us some sense of comfort before going back into Memphis. But it's not going to be easy. No, it's definitely not going to be easy. So I am concerned. I agree with you.
So it should be interesting playoffs.
It
was a lot of good sports on today. I mean, you had the 4 games, and then you had as we wrap up, they had boxing, a really good match. Gervonta Davis.
My wife actually watched the fight.
Ryan Garcia.
Yeah, she actually watched the fight. I didn't look at the fight. Of course, I'm consumed with these Lakers that are giving me all kind of fits. But yeah, I didn't. I'll be honest, I don't follow boxing anymore. I was a big boxing fan back in the Tyson days, and Sugar Ray and Hagler and all those guys back in the 80s and the 90s, but I don't really follow it like that. But who did win tonight?
You Gervonta Davis. You actually started going backwards, because you were like, Mike Tyson, then you started going Hagler, then you were going to be I was more Jack Johnson. I was really
Jack Johnson, right? Rocky Marciano.
Right, exactly. Like, usually you start with them and kind of work
button in my
Oh man, but yeah, so it was cool. I was kind of interested in the obviously the basketball playoffs, and I was on the fence about getting the fight, and then I was my boy was kind of updating me on it, and I was on Twitter kind of looking. And I was like, all right,
So you went on and got it?
Especially no, I didn't. Especially when they knocked him, he got knocked down. Ryan Garcia got knocked down, I think in the first or second round. I was like, well, I saved myself $85 if this joint is over, but it wound up going 7 rounds. So it was, Tank did his thing, and it was a good fight. So
my wife said, she was excited about it. She was at a friend's house tonight, and then she was texting me, oh, babe, the fight's on, and this is, saying. And then when she came home, she's like, she was giving me all the lowdown. I was like, okay. So you was over there watching. I'm like, was you with your fighting husband? Who was you with to give you all this information?
Right.
You
know a little bit
you
too
really
much
at your
now.
girlfriend's house, or was you
right.
That's some
Right,
dude house.
exactly.
I'm like, I'm
Right,
wondering, like,
exactly.
hold on, how you know? I mean,
Wait,
she
how
was
y'all
literally
know?
breaking
Wait,
down the whole
really?
fight, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Like, are you my boxing daddy or you my
Right. Yeah.
yo,
Wait, you know a little bit too much
yeah, you
about it.
know a
Like,
little bit
I
too
get
much.
it,
I'm
but
like, hold on, who put you onto that?
right? Who told? Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
That's your girlfriend house? Does she know that much about boxing? Right,
Right.
exactly. So,
But
oh
yeah.
God. But
So
anyway,
listen, man, I think the
yeah,
playoffs is going to be exciting. There's going
it
to
is
be,
the
we'll
man.
see what
Yeah.
happens with Boston and Atlanta. They messed around and lost the game, so I
Atlanta's their
think
fool, man.
they're going to beat.
But they'll win.
They're
They'll
going to
win.
beat
They'll win.
Atlanta.
Well, you know what?
I,
If they win this next game, right? The game 4 is the game that you always kind of can determine if a team really wants to put someone away or not. So
yeah. I think they'll ultimately win.
Yeah.
And then second round should be exciting. We'll see what happens.
Very.
Hopefully there aren't any more, altering injuries that will impact a series, that we've had.
Not,
I mean, first round, I mean, there's been some really significant injuries or injuries leading even into the playoffs that have,
that's true.
impacted
right.
because, as much as I like the Suns' chances of winning, clearly there is. I feel very, very confident they wouldn't have beat the Clippers.
They would not have.
Clippers are a deep team.
They are,
and if
they
they're
play good
stars,
defense too.
they play good defense. I mean,
and
Powell
Russ
Powell, Russ is they. I mean,
Yeah.
they are putting. They have a really good team. And if they were in full strength, there's no way. Even with Booker and KD and DeAndre Ayton, it wouldn't have been enough. Starting five, fine.
Yeah.
But once that second team came in, it would have been a wrap because
it would have been a wrap,
I totally agree. Just can't keep up because I mean, if the Clippers and the Nuggets can just keep pumping out bodies, all game long, so their superstars stay fresh. You can't compete with that.
And I think the injury to me that's most though hurting, I think, no, his name is not as big as everyone else's, but it's Hero's his breaking his wrist there. Because if you get, obviously, it's 2-1 now, right? But as you often say, since we started our show, injuries is the equalizer, right? It's the great equalizer. So with Giannis being out and they don't have Heroes, it kind of evens the playing field a little bit. I know Hero's not on his level, obviously, but the dynamics change, and you don't have the scorer and the 3-point shooting there with Hero. But I think that's to me, that was a big loss for them. So when Giannis comes back, which I do expect him to come back for this game 4, I think that's when you will probably see them kind of put it away, and you're going to really kind of miss. You're gonna miss him at that point, but but I thought that was an unfortunate injury for Miami. I feel.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. I agree with that. I agree because it's not just a game or two. He's out.
Right.
Indefinitely. I mean, he's not. He's done for the playoffs. So it's different. It's not just I'm hurt and I'm quote unquote load managing between games. But listen, time will tell. We'll see how it all plays out. But shout outs to Infinite Audio for the music.
Man.
Hey, listen, shout outs to Kingdom Creator for the production. We had this is a wee hours of the morning, Sunday morning show. Shout out to you, Rod, for enduring. And I mean it's
man.
2 o'clock in the morning there, whatever time it is. The sun's up on the East Coast already, So it's all good, man. But we got the show done.
Yes, we did, sir.
I
miss you, D. I ain't see you all week, man.
Yeah,
so
I'm telling you.
Back with you, man.
Yeah, absolutely. We got it in, and
no doubt.
We're gonna see what pops off, man. But once again, everyone, like, share, subscribe to our Facebook and YouTube page. We thank you for all of your comments, everyone interacting with us. We truly appreciate it.
We really
continue to challenge us to, if we give a take and you disagree with it, we're okay with the challenge. We can differ in opinions and have our agree to disagree if that's what it takes. But we do appreciate you guys coming in and checking in with us. Until next time, peace.